Nick Kurtz has proven to be as advertised and has been putting an absolute beating on minor league pitching. But is it his time to be called up? And what would it take to make that happen? Today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I am your host, Booney. One name, all passion. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. I'm from the Bay Area, and I've been a diehard A's fan since 1981. This isn't just another A's podcast. This is the most informative and insightful show on the A's. Period. We cover the A's every single day, breaking down games, delivering the latest team news, and giving you deep, thoughtful analysis you will not find anywhere else. If it's happening in Sacramento or in Las Vegas, we've got you covered. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. And please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button wherever you are following the show. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. We have a great show for you this evening or in the morning, whenever you actually catch it. The A's just wrapped up a 3-game set against the Padres and have the Mets coming into town this weekend to wrap up a 6-game homestand. How does the rest of April look and going into May? And what are realistic expectations for the A's? That's a bit later. The A's lost the rubber match against the San Diego Padres today, one of baseball's best teams. We will review the 3 games and what the A's did well, what the A's didn't do so well, and that's in a bit. First, since the A's selected Nick Kurtz with the 4th overall pick in 2024 MLB draft, the buzz surrounding the 22-year-old Wake Forest product has been absolutely electric. At 6'5", with a powerful left-handed swing, Kurtz has drawn comparisons to some of baseball's greats. Think Jim Thome and Freddie Freeman. And so far, Kurtz is living up to the hype. In just 9 games at AAA Las Vegas, Kurtz has been nothing short of sensational, slashing .386 with 6 home runs, 5 doubles, 17 RBIs, and 11 runs scored. His bat is scorching hot, and his talent is undeniable. The question isn't if he will make it to the big leagues, it's when. But as exciting as Kurtz's potential is, the A's have some logistical hurdles to clear before they can bring in their prize prospect up to the big leagues. Let's dive into how Nick Kurtz could fit into the A's roster and what moves need to be made to make room for him. First, is there an immediate need for Nick Kurtz? Kurtz is a natural first baseman, and he's not moving from that spot anytime soon. The challenge? The A's already have a standout first baseman in Tyler Soderstrom, who is tearing it up in the early part of 2025. Soderstrom is versatile. He was drafted as a catcher and has shown he can handle left field as well. But his bat has been so valuable that moving him around might not be ideal. Meanwhile, Miguel Andújar has been holding down left field and hitting just under 300. Andújar is a legitimate MLB hitter. And at the same time, Shea Langoliers has been rock solid behind the plate, catching nearly every game, while Johnny Pereda serves as a subpar backup. So where does Kurtz fit? Well, his bat would undoubtedly improve the lineup, there isn't an obvious hole screaming for his immediate promotion. However, there are a few intriguing scenarios that could pave the way for Kurtz to make his MLB debut. First, let's cover how MLB rosters are structured. An MLB's 40-man roster must be announced annually on November 19th. In order to be on the big league's 26-man roster, you must be on the 40-man roster first. Nick Kurtz was not on the A's 40-man roster when it was announced back in November. How does Kurtz get on the 40-man roster? Well, in order to get on the 40-man roster, you must DFA, release, or put a player on the 60-day IL. So if you are thinking, hey, let's send Seth Brown down to the minor leagues or Johnny Pereda down to AAA and bring up Kurtz, it doesn't work that way. I don't see the A's doing anything with pitchers in order to make room for Kurtz, who is a position player, obviously. Right now, the A's need every pitching option possible. First option is, hey, let's waive Johnny Pereda, right? One of the simplest ways to make room for Kurtz on the 40-man roster is, yes, to waive backup catcher Pereda. This would allow Tyler Soderstrom to occasionally catch for Langoliers when Langoliers needs a day off, freeing up first base for Kurtz. Against left-handed pitching, the lineup wouldn't change too much, right? You have Soderstrom at first base, Rooker at DH, and Miguel Andújar in left field. But against a right-hander, Soderstrom could shift to left field, Rooker could DH, and Kurtz could take over at first. When Langoliers needs an occasional day off, you can put Soderstrom behind the plate, Kurtz at first. While this setup maximizes offensive firepower, it does raise concern about overextending Soderstrom by having him catch more frequently. Additionally, limiting Andújar's playing time in left field could be risky, given his strong start to the season. Option 2, release Seth Brown, which is another possibility, who has struggled mightily at the plate this season with just 2 hits in 14 at-bats. Brown hasn't made a strong case for regular playing time. Cutting ties with him would open up opportunities for Soderstrom to play left field and for Kurtz to slot in at first base or DH. However, Brown's value extends beyond his on-field performance. He's known for being a great clubhouse presence and is under contract for $2.7 million this season. Eating that guaranteed money might be a tough pill to swallow for a team like the A's that operates on a tight budget. The third option is intriguing, and it involves trading Miguel Andújar. While Andújar has been fantastic at the plate, his history of injury and impeding free agency make him a prime candidate to be traded. Moving him now could net the A's a much-needed starting pitcher while also clearing space for Kurtz. In this scenario, Johnny Pereda would also be waived to create room on the 40-man roster. Against right-handers, Soderstrom would play left field, Kurtz would take first base, and Rooker would be at DH. Against left-handers, Rooker could shift to left field, Soderstrom could stay at first base, and Kurtz possibly could move to DH. When Langoliers needs a day off behind the plate, Soderstrom could catch, with Brown filling in at left field and Kurtz at first. This approach not only brings Kurtz into the fold, but also strengthens the A's pitching staff, an area of need, and ensures they are not relying too heavily on an injury-prone player like Andújar, especially when he is up for free agency next year. The A's are in a unique position. They are just not looking to compete in 2025. They are building for the future. Nick Kurtz represents that future. His elite bat and ability to hit big league pitching are too valuable to keep in AAA for long. While there's no denying that moves need to be made to accommodate him, the payoff could be immense. By promoting Kurtz now, the A's inject their lineup with even more firepower while giving their fans a glimpse of what to come. Whether it means waiving Pereda, cutting ties with Brown, or trading Andújar for pitching help, the A's have options to make it work. Bottom line is Nick Kurtz is ready for the show. It's just a matter of finding him a spot. The A's have some tough decisions ahead, but one thing is clear. Kurtz's presence could elevate this team immediately, whether he's crushing home runs at first base or driving in runs at DH. His impact will be felt, and considering the A's inconsistencies on the offensive end, he may be needed sooner than later. Speaking of offensive inconsistencies, the A's were only able to muster 2 hits and dropping the rubber match against the San Diego Padres today, losing 2-1. Let's review that series up next. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they are packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keeping you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days, whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost. They are always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. The fact that Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein, providing all 9 essential amino acids, how these little green wonders pack a protein punch. No shells, Wonderful Pistachios for that grab and go ease. The satisfying crack of opening each shell, it's like snack meditation. Whether you are running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. The A's had a rough start to their 6-game homestand in Sacramento, dropping 2 of 3 games to the San Diego Padres in what was supposed to be a home series. However, with more Padre fans in the stands than A's supporters, calling Sacramento a home field advantage for the A's feels like a stretch. The team's struggles in Sacramento continue to mount as they now hold a dismal 1-5 record in this so-called home venue. The series kicked off on a sour note, continuing a troubling pattern of first inning woes for the A's pitching staff. In Game 1, Luis Severino surrendered 3 runs in the opening frame, putting the team in an early hole. Despite a late push from the offense, the A's fell short, losing 5-4. Game 2 saw Jeffrey Springs follow Severino's lead, unfortunately not in a good way, allowing 3 runs in the first inning as well. But this time the bats came alive and the A's exploded for 10 runs to secure an emphatic 10-4 victory and to even the series at 1. Heading into today's rubber match, there was optimism for an offensive showdown with the A's starting Osvaldo Bido starting against Randy Vasquez for the Padres. Instead, fans were treated to a surprising pitching duel. The A's struck first with a Luis Urias sac fly in the opening inning to take a 1-0 lead, but their offense went silent after that, managing only 2 hits all game. One of those hits came from Jacob Wilson. Who else? He extended his impressive hitting streak to 14 games dating back to last season. Unfortunately, his efforts weren't enough to spark the team. The Padres tied things up in the third inning when Oscar Gonzalez delivered a clutch 2-out single. Center fielder J.J. Bleday nearly made an incredible catch to prevent the run, but couldn't hold on as he hit the ground hard. The Padres took the lead in the fifth inning on a Gavin Sheets sacrifice fly, and the Padres do have one of baseball's best bullpens, and they did the rest, completely shutting down the A's en route to a 2-1 victory. The series highlighted some glaring issues for the A's, particularly at the plate. The heart of their lineup, Lawrence Butler, Brent Rooker, Shea Langoliers, was ice cold throughout the series, combining for an abysmal 4 for 36 performance. Langoliers went 1 of 11, Butler 2 of 12, and Rooker 1 for 13. When your top hitters are this ineffective over a 3-game stretch, it's no surprise that wins are hard to come by. Quite frankly, it's remarkable that the A's managed to win one game at all. On a brighter note, the bullpen was stellar in this series, pitching 9 scoreless innings across all 3 games. If there's one silver lining to take away from this disappointing weekend, it's that the relievers are doing their job. And when you exclude those disastrous first innings from Severino and Springs, the starting pitching was also solid. But baseball is a team game, and without consistent offensive production, especially from key players, the A's are going to continue to struggle. Sacramento has been anything but friendly to the A's this season. Their 1-5 record at this home field is emblematic of their broader challenges: inconsistent hitting, early pitching meltdowns, and a lack of fan support in what is supposed to be their own backyard. If Butler, Rooker, and Langoliers can't turn things around soon, it's hard to see how this team can string together wins. The A's need answers. The A's need answers fast. Otherwise, this season could quickly spiral out of control. For now, though, it's hard not to feel disappointed as we reflect on yet another series loss in Sacramento. Things don't get easier as the New York Mets come to Sacramento this weekend. Let's take a look at what lies ahead. And after 13 games, how do we feel about the start for the A's? Up next. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now, I budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. We've got a lot to unpack as we assess where the A's team stands after 13 games. The A's are currently sitting at 5-8, and while it hasn't been the start we were hoping for, there are some silver linings and plenty of opportunities ahead. Last year, after 13 games, we were, you guessed it, also 5-8. Now, I know that record doesn't scream playoff contenders, but let's take a step back here. The American League as a whole is down this year, and I firmly believe that the last playoff spot in the AL could go to a team hovering around the 500 mark. So while 5-8 isn't ideal, it's not a death sentence either. let's recap how we got here, right? We split the series in Seattle to start the season, 2-2. Not bad. Splitting on the road is something you can live with. Then came the Cubs series. And let's just call it what it was, a disaster. We got swept, 2-5. But hey, we bounced back nicely in Colorado, taking 2 of 3 from the Rockies, 4-6. And finally, we dropped 2 of 3 to the Padres. Tough series against a very strong team, 5-8. So what does this tell us? Well, for one, we have already faced some of the best teams in baseball. 3 against the Cubs, 3 against the Padres, and we're still standing. And guess what? After this weekend against the Mets, 9 of our 16 games will have been against some of baseball's best teams. That's a brutal stretch to start the season, but it also means there's room for improvement as we move forward. Now let's talk about attendance for a minute, because this has been a hot topic among former A's fans. Last year, through 6 games in Oakland, the team drew 38,632 fans. This year, in a minor league ballpark, it's up to 60,629. That's a jump of over 20,000 fans in 6 games. While Sacramento is not ideal, it's better than Oakland, which isn't saying much. What matters is what happens on the field, and that brings us to this next stretch of games because it is critical. Let me paint you a picture here. Between now and May 7th, we got 25 games on the schedule. 3 games against the Mets this weekend at home. Then we hit the road for 3 games in Chicago against the White Sox and another 3 in Milwaukee against the Brewers. We come back home for 6 games in Sacramento, 3 against the Rangers and 3 more against the White Sox. Then it's back on the road for a 4-game set in Texas against the Rangers and a 3-game set in Miami against the Marlins. Finally, we return home for 3 games against the Mariners. That's a lot of baseball. And I'll be honest with you, that stretch could very well define our season. Here's my take. If the A's want to stay in contention for that final playoff spot, they need to go at least 14-11 over the next 25 games. Now, again, it's early, right? But we got to split the season into different parts. And over the next 25 games, 14-11 is critical. That would put us at 19-19 overall, right at 500 and right in the mix. So how do we get there? Let's break it down. We got 9 games against the White Sox and Marlins. Those are games we have to capitalize on. I think we need to win at least 7 of those 9. Then there are 7 games against the Rangers alone, 3 at home and 4 on the road. The Rangers are tough, but if we can take 3 of those 7, I'll take it. Finally, there are 9 games against the Mets, Mariners, and Brewers. Those are all good teams, but if we can grab 4 out of the 9 there, that gets us to our magic number of 14 wins. It's not going to be easy, but it's doable. And if we can get to May 7th with a 500 record, then we are still very much alive in this race. Here's why it's so important. The next 9 games, check out this stretch. Yankees in Sacramento, Dodgers in LA, Giants in San Francisco. That's tough, real tough. Now, let me address something I've been hearing from some fans. The season feels like it's already slipping away. Look, I get it. The start hasn't been optimal by any means, but let me remind you, baseball's a marathon, not a sprint. We're only 13 games into a 162-game season. There is so much baseball left to be played. And here's another thing. This team has shown flashes of potential. We've seen some solid pitching performances. We've seen timely hitting in big moments. What we need now is consistency. If this team can start playing clean baseball, limit the errors, execute with runners in scoring position, we'll be just fine. So my message to A's fans is this. Don't panic. We're not in a bad spot right now. We're good. With all things considered, we're just fine. But we do need to start playing better baseball, and soon. All right, before we wrap up today's episode, let me give you a quick preview of this weekend's series against the Mets. The Mets are coming off a solid start to their season and have one of the most talented rosters in baseball. It's going to be a tough series for sure, but it's also a great opportunity for the A's to make a statement. Tomorrow on Locked On A's, I'll be joined by Ryan Finkelstein from Locked On Mets to break down this matchup in detail. We'll talk about pitching matchups, key players to watch, and what each team needs to do to come out on top. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB, on YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. I will see you all tomorrow, and let's go A's.